and that goes from like the seven figure to the six figure and the six figure to the beginner. The advice is like just don't quit and like spend as much time like failing, learning. Seven figure e-com brands, eight, nine figure e-commerce brands. They're not one trick ponies. It's the same principle. It's the same mechanism. Whether they're selling sex chocolate or they're selling leggings. I always love to like look at big businesses and like their first website. Like I don't know if you've seen like Airbnb's first site. Like, it was dog shit, bro.
Yeah, it was.
Like a kindergartner, like like some color, like some crayons, and they could come up with a better sketch.
The best piece of motivational advice, and really the only piece of motivational advice you need, is by Nike, which is just do it. Straight up, like that's all the fucking advice you need. Literally taking the Andrew Tate method, but applying it to a brand. So I love to see that because everybody's talked about, how to blow up your personal brand with this sort of clipping mechanic, you could say, but you're using it to grow your e-commerce brand. So that's brilliant, bro.
Oh, I mean, and it's generated probably like over $500,000 in revenue like over the past like 4 months.
That's crazy.
Directly just from like the repost, which is pretty.
And you can see, they're getting their own individual discounts, so you can actually attribute that revenue to them.
Exactly.
That's awesome. That's the toughest part I think about organic is like handling attribution. Even though like, if you just know your sales are here and your spend is here, like you're good, right? But it would be incredibly helpful to know more details on that, which is what you get with paid media, is like exactly where your sales are coming from, or at least primarily. I mean, obviously there's a lot of missed attribution still on the paid side.
Yeah, 100%. Although I will say that like I like live and breathe the business, and so I feel like I have like a spider sense.
Yeah.
Like I can like kind of like instinctually like feel like like just like looking at views, looking at different channels, where like I have a very good like gauge as to like kind of what's happening and what's pushing and what's not.
Right.
So I just like always have my finger on the pulse. But yeah, I mean it's probably better to have like data-backed, conclusive reports rather than me pretending to be a clairvoyant.
I mean, but that makes a lot of sense to me, bro. I'm a guy that I believe so much in intuition, like especially if you build mastery over something. Like obviously if you're just some random dude on the street and you like, that still is valuable, but obviously your intuition is going to be way more powerful because you've been in the business for years. So that's another big benefit of sticking to something long term is you just know it like the back of your hand, and there's so much intangible value to that.
Bro, I feel like that's like the biggest secret to success in e-commerce that like people don't really say. Is that like I feel like this whole entire game is one of intuition. Like the person doing like 8 figures or 9 figures isn't really like that much smarter than the person doing 7 figures. They've just seen more, they've experienced more, they've lived a longer like more eventful kind of e-commerce life, and as a result like their brain just like is able to optimize and think differently and like know like how to move. Yeah, like I fully, and that goes from like the 7 figure to the 6 figure and the 6 figure to the beginner too. You
Right.
know? So again, like the advice is like just don't quit and like spend as much time like getting in those reps, like failing, learning, moving forward, because like eventually like you'll start to like pave your path forward. And that's why you look at the guys that are running like 7 figure e-com brands, 8, 9 figure e-commerce brands. They're not one trick ponies. It's the same principles. It's the same mechanisms. It's the same like whether they're selling sex chocolate or they're selling leggings or they're pushing an app or a software, whatever it is, right? Like it's all the same shit. And they've become so good at like just understanding how to get from point A to B, and that's what the real secret is. They don't have a higher IQ. They're not smarter. They're not like like born with some like natural like inclination to become like rich. Like nah, man. I think it just it boils down to experience, which leads to intuition, which leads to success. In my mind.
Man. It's the mastery. You can't compete with someone who's been in their business for 2 years and you're just getting started. Like they just know so much more, even if they're 20 IQ points dumber. It doesn't matter.
Right. And like you were saying before, like things compound, man. Like I always love to like look at like big businesses and like their first website. Like I don't know if you've seen like Airbnb's first site. Like it was dog shit, bro.
Yeah, it was.
It was like a kindergartner, like like some color, like some crayons, and they could come up with a better sketch. And so, like, I think the most important thing is just starting today, starting yesterday, and then seeing it through.
Yeah, I always say that too. Like the best piece of motivational advice, and really the only piece of motivational advice you need, is by Nike, which is just do it. Straight up. Like, that's
Yeah.
all the fucking advice you need. But that's awesome, bro. I'm really happy to have had you on. I think we can probably end it here just to end it on a bang. But
All right.
if you, I mean, obviously, people can find you on Twitter. You got your agency going on. You're building, this app, and Tabs. Of course, I've tested the product, and that shit is fire, bro. So you guys built an amazing product, which is probably why it's so successful, honestly. So,
Sorry, folks.
but it's a great product. Let's just keep it at that.
Thank you, bro.
But
Well, I
anyways,
appreciate you having me on, man. I appreciate
course,
you having
bro.
me on. Dude, it was great chopping it up.
Yeah, let's do a part 2, like, a few months from now or 6 months from now. I'm trying to make that a thing. Like I did it with Luke. Luke Belmar. We just wrapped up an interview. I've done it with Jad. I got to get Jake back on. So that would be amazing. I would love to do that.
Hell yeah, man. Well, dude, it was great. And yeah, catch you later.
All right, bro. Peace out.